The true story of Abraham Lincoln. Welcome back to my channel, Miss Mythos. Today, we'll explore the incredible true story of a man who rose from poverty, failure, and heartbreak to become one of the greatest leaders in history. This is the true story of Abraham Lincoln, a story of perseverance, humility, and the power of never giving up, no matter how hard life gets. Abraham Lincoln was born in a tiny wooden cabin in Kentucky in 1809. He grew up poor, working on farms, cutting wood, and doing hard labor from a young age. He had very little education. In fact, he attended school for less than a year in total. But what he did have was an unshakable desire to learn. He borrowed books from neighbors and read by the light of the fire late at night. He once said, "I will study and prepare myself, and someday my chance will come." As a young man, Lincoln faced countless failures. He tried several small businesses, each one failed. He lost his job, went bankrupt, and even had to borrow money to survive. But he kept moving forward. When he entered politics, things didn't get any easier. He ran for state legislature and lost. He ran for Congress and lost. He ran for the Senate and lost again. He even ran for vice president and lost that too. Most people would have stopped after so many defeats. But not Lincoln. He said, "My great concern is not whether you have failed, but whether you are content with your failure." He believed that as long as you keep trying, you're still in the game. Lincoln's personal life was also filled with pain. He lost the woman he loved early in life, and later, 2 of his young sons passed away. He suffered from depression and loneliness for many years. But even through that darkness, he never gave up on doing what was right. Finally, in 1860, after years of rejection, Abraham Lincoln was elected the 16th President of the United States. He entered office during one of the darkest times in history, the Civil War. The country was divided, people were against each other, and hatred filled the air. But Lincoln's vision was not revenge or power, it was unity. He wanted to keep the nation together and give people hope again. He once said, "A house divided against itself cannot stand." And even when the war got worse, even when people criticized him, he stood firm in his belief that freedom and equality were worth fighting for. One of his most powerful acts was the Emancipation Proclamation, a declaration that ended slavery in America. It was a brave and controversial decision, but it changed history forever. He said, "Whenever I hear anyone arguing for slavery, I feel a strong impulse to see it tried on him personally." Lincoln was not a perfect man. He made mistakes, had doubts, and often felt the weight of the world on his shoulders. But his heart was pure. He cared about justice, kindness, and humanity. He said, "I am not bound to win, but I am bound to be true. I am not bound to succeed, but I am bound to live by the light that I have." In 1865, after leading the nation through victory and peace, Abraham Lincoln's journey came to a tragic end. He was assassinated while attending a theater performance, just days after the Civil War ended. The news shocked the world. But even in death, his legacy continued to grow. Today, Abraham Lincoln is remembered as one of the greatest leaders who ever lived. He proved that you don't need a perfect start to build a meaningful life. You don't need privilege, connections, or luck, you just need courage, persistence, and a purpose that's bigger than yourself. His story reminds us that every failure, every heartbreak, every struggle is not the end of your story, but the beginning of your strength. Lincoln once said, "The best way to predict your future is to create it." And that's exactly what he did. He created his own destiny, step by step, mistake by mistake, until the world could no longer ignore his greatness. So, if you're struggling right now, if you feel like your dreams are too far away, remember Abraham Lincoln. Remember that even the man who freed a nation once lost more times than he won. But he never stopped believing that he was meant for something greater. Thank you for watching the true story of Abraham Lincoln. If this video inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Miss Mythos for more motivational and life-changing stories. Remember, success is not built in comfort. It's built in struggle, patience, and the courage to rise again after every fall.